All right. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to do a short pre recorded live because I don't have time. Whoa, what's my computer doing? Anyway, I don't have time to go live today, but I wanted to give an update on the Heidi case. There's some information, but not a lot. Um, so we're just going to hop right into it. So, pretty much the summary of it is foul play is suspected. They're classifying it as a homicide now. No suspects have been named, and they are presuming that she is dead. So I wrote down a few notes, so I'll just read them off. This isn't going to be fancy. I just wanted to give you guys an update. So the father, Jim, Heidi's ex-husband, tried to take her son to get some of his toys and belongings from Heidi's house, but the landlord refused entry, saying there was damages to the home, but none were reported by the police when they had raided the home. I think it was on October 29th. I'll kind of do a brief summary real quick for you guys. You can go back and watch our other two lives on it, but I will do a brief summary here in just a second. But the landlord's claiming the property is abandoned and that to retrieve any items, they will have to go to court. So the only thing the little boy wanted was really some of his toys and some of his items from his mom. So I don't know. I'm not sure. There is one person that has a key to the home that I heard of, and we talked about it in one of the other lives. I can't remember her name. It's one of her close friends, but I don't know. So hold on. Let me pull this up. So here's Heidi's missing flyer. It's been almost 3 months since she's been missing, and there's just really not a lot to go on yet. So here's the brief before I update on the news stuff. Heidi's disappearance, the timeline goes, she went to her son's football game October 17th. Then after the football game, she left at halftime, and she was last seen in downtown Los Angeles, and her dog was found at a high-rise building. On October 20th, she failed to pick up her son. On October 20th again, a missing persons report was filed and a wellness check was performed. Her husband, ex-husband, requested that missing person. And then on October 29th, the FBI raided her home. So this is a picture of Heidi. And this is just her basic description. I don't know if that'll go away so you guys can see it. I don't know if you guys can see the stop sharing thing. Anyway, she's 39 years old and she's from Los Angeles. Her physical description is she's a Caucasian female. She was born on April 4th, 1983. She has blonde hair, blue eyes. She's 5'3" and 120 pounds. She was last seen wearing a pair of jeans, a t-shirt with a smiley face, and a gray sweater wrapped around her waist. And here's a basic, just summary thing again. She's 39 years old, last seen in Los Angeles on October 17th. She disappeared after abruptly leaving her son's football game in a Los Angeles suburb during halftime. She was originally from New York, but she later moved to California. She attended the school, California State University. In 2008, she was married to her husband, Jim Wayne, who's a Beverly Hills hairstylist. They divorced after four years. They had the birth of their son. They shared custody. There didn't really seem to be any, they went back and forth in custody battles, things do, but it seemed like they were on pretty good terms. And then, of course, we have the Jason Sugarman incident with the dropping off of the pastries or whatever he dropped off of. He knew that she was missing or had disappeared, but he still went to her home and delivered that. We talked about that in one of our previous lives again. That it's just weird to us. The ex-husband thinks that her job may have played a role in it. And, we went, again, you'll have to go back and watch our other lives to do a recap on it. He was in a major, major lawsuit. His partner is currently serving prison time they were trying to embezzle money from an Indian reservation, I believe is what it was. And he actually he's still on trial, and they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with him. So yeah, it's a mess on that end, but it's hard to say, what happens. So on October 21st, her ex-husband received a phone call from the Security and Exchange Commission's officer asking him questions about Jason Sugarman, his ex-wife's boss. Jason Sugarman and his partner, Jason, the one who's in jail, were charged with fraud. So that's why a lot of the suspicion ended up going on Jason, but I'm not sure. At the time of her disappearance, she worked as a control and executive assistant at Camden Capital Partners, an investment advisory company in California. She lived alone in a rented townhouse in California, and she was dating a man that was an executive at, at a Facebook. I'm not even sure how you say these words, so I am not going to try. Y'all are welcome to try. But it's related to the Zuckerberg family, pretty much. Her boyfriend at the time. So when she actually disappeared, she had abruptly left the football game, and then she was seen in downtown Los Angeles walking her dog Seven by the Flower and Hope building, I think is what it's called. Let me look. I want to get it right. The Hope and Flower building. There's a lot of suspicion still roaming around that building, and we'll get into that. So yeah, she was walking her dog when she disappeared. And the reason that he filed the police report is this right here. She failed to pick up her 10-year-old son from their private school in Westwood. And this was not common for Heidi. Either one of them. They were always on time to get the kid, or they let each other, and then so he knew something was up because of the way she had been acting. There hadn't been any contact for those 2 days, and then she failed to pick their son up. So that's what raised his concern to file the missing persons report. And this is a picture of Heidi's home that she lived in. It's a 1.7 million townhouse home. I previously thought that she owned this home, but apparently she doesn't. She rents it because of the information that came out about the landlord. I think this is pretty much the same thing. Well, as soon as the game ended, Heidi texted her son congratulating him on their win. So we knew at 6:30 or around 4:30 that, she was alive. And then she was seen at 6:30. She had congratulated her son about the win on the game. And then she was seen around that apartment complex, and she was just never seen again after that on any type of camera. So around 7 that night, her Labradoodle dog named Seven was discovered wandering alone on the 28th floor of the Hope and Flower, a luxury apartment complex. But there were no signs of Heidi. And we talked about this in a previous live. I keep saying that, guys. I'm sorry. I really don't have the time to go back and get all into it because it was, each live was like an hour long. But the Hope and Flower is not just a luxury apartment complex. It's got extremely, extremely high security. Like, you don't just walk in the front door of this building. You have to be pretty much granted access to get into this. It's a very, very big deal, So this is skipping ahead just a tink, but I'm going to go ahead and read it since this is how the article was played out. On November 4th, 2021, her silver 2017 Range Rover with California license plate, you can read it there, was found abandoned in an underground garage as a residential building, and it was located only a few blocks away from this Hope and Flower building where everything's focused at. And this is a picture of the Hope and Flower apartment complex. So they finally did get a warrant to go in and search. I'm not sure if there's a specific area that they decided to search on, but the discovery of an unclosed forensic evidence in the high-rise building led authorities to believe that something happened that resulted in her death and that her body may be in the Chiquita Canyon landfill. The police have not said what they have found here, but obviously it was enough, forensic evidence for them it could have been blood, it could have been anything, but it's enough to make them think that she's dead and that she died there. So the landfill is about 40 miles northwest from LA, and the police somehow, something to do with this high rise, decided that this was where they needed to search. So I'm not real sure. There's not a lot going on. They're kind of keeping it hush hush, which is expected. But they did excavate a specific area of the landfill in search of evidence related to Heidi. Again, it's not known if anything was found, and the search ended abruptly. That could be good news in a way. They found nothing. Or it could be bad news. They did find something, There's not a lot of updates coming in about this stuff, guys. This is the landfill, and there's a lot of controversy behind it on its own. You can look up, there's a 2017 about an expansion that was done. Not interesting to most people I know. Don't think it's related in any way, but it's a controversial landfill. But the landfill, they are working. They are letting the police use their excavation, things to dig in that certain area they were looking for. But to the public knowledge, nothing was, found there, but things could have been found there. So, no. There was one other thing that I wanted to talk about before we go on to this next thing. So the vehicle that was impounded, they went ahead and impounded, of course, and did a search on it when they found it in the underground garage. I don't know what was found in that vehicle, if anything was found in that vehicle. It's currently in a tow yard. It's been there since, probably a couple days after November 4th, after the police searched it. But they are having absolute heck getting that vehicle back. The family is. They want the tow company. I'm not going to name the tow company's name. Y'all can figure that out. They wanted Heidi's license, and they want thousands of dollars for this car to be released. And every time it seems like they get what the agency, sorry guys, I'm reading off the screen. I'm in a rush. I'm so sorry. Anytime that I guess there was a few prior requests that the tow company had, and every time that the family does exactly what they want, they have the money for them, they come up with some excuse of, again, why they cannot release Heidi's vehicle, even though the police have cleared this vehicle to be released. So another one of those things we just don't know. The last thing that I really want to touch on is there's been no reward offered by the city for tips about Heidi. This may sound, a little strange, but if you look at it, there was 2 separate murder cases that have happened in LA, and they have offered up reward money for information leading to tips on that. So I was just a little confused about why not for Heidi's case? Why was there not, tip money or tip reward, anything offered up for Heidi, but there was for these other cases. But it seems to me that this case isn't important to him for whatever reason. I could be wrong. There could be a lot going on behind the scenes we don't know about. But man, guys, finding information on this is few and far in between. So I'm going to go ahead and read this one. Investigating agency. If you have any information regarding the disappearance of Heidi, please contact the Los Angeles Police Department at this phone number or this phone number, or call the Los Angeles Regional Crime Stoppers at 800-222-8477. That's about all I got for the updates, guys. If there's anything else you want to know, I can try to research into it more, but there's not a lot to work with. But I'm glad you guys tuned in for this quick update, and I'll see you guys again next time. Have a good day, everyone.